All right, so I'm really excited that you are here with me today, and I don't think I've ever made like a full video on this topic. So today we're gonna focus on this. We're gonna talk about how to stop hot and cold behavior. Okay, so before we dive in, if you feel like you need additional support other than my free YouTube content as well as my Secure Girl podcast, which I will be launching episodes again starting sometime this month, not really sure exactly when, but I wanted to remind you that I do have email coaching. I also have one-on-one video coaching as well as a paid Facebook group, and I have a VIP group where we do Zoom group coaching sessions twice a month in that group, but all the info is below. I also have just finished revamping my self-love, self-concept online course. So this is for do-it-yourselfers, and it is very extensive. It has 28 video and audio trainings or lessons, as well as 14 written exercises, and it's all about you are the prize, how to, build up your self-concept and self-love in regards to your love life. The whole course is focused on that. So if you're interested, the link is below as well. All right, and as always, I have my How to Manifest Your SP Back and Keep Them for Good online course. That description is below as well. And guess what? I am on fucking TikTok and I love it. And you're gonna see more of my personality on TikTok. So if you're not there, join. It's fun. We have a lot of fun there. I get to do skits and like silly stuff. Okay, so enough about that. So this is what I want to talk about because I don't think I've ever really done a video on this. I've addressed it, but not a whole video. So let's talk about this right now. We all know everybody says the same fucking shit, but I'm going to throw in a little extra shit to kind of boost you up and remind you, how do we really get rid of the hot and cold shit? So there's a couple different things. So we know that your thoughts create your reality. Your dominant thinking is what manifests. When you're manifesting love or relationship or a specific person, if you have hot and cold behavior, most people freak the fuck out. And then they're like, oh my God, like it's not working, Kim. And oh my God, like, no one's changed and da-da-da-da-da. So I always remind people that you're really not changing them. You're changing you, your perspective of them, your perspective of yourself, and your perspective of what's happening. So everyone in your life is just a 3D reflection of who you are internally, your inner story. That is what everyone is you pushed out with. Everything that you focus on in your mind is going out and everyone's reflecting it back to you for the most part, okay? So you have to remember that. So when you see that nasty hot and cold behavior, which doesn't feel the best, you have so many different options in that moment to do things different to get what you want. And most people don't do this. Most people still react, still believe that things aren't working. They go right back into old concept of self. And they go into the old story, the concept of this person and what they perceive is happening, which is why then the behavior either just continues or you get more and more cold rather than more and more hot. So we have to remember that when you start changing your mental diet and creating a new self-concept as well as a new story about what is happening in this area of your life, you have not completely reprogrammed the dominating thoughts that were present prior to this new way of thinking. So this is where, again, persistence comes into fact. I swear I'm going to get that tattooed on my forehead because people forget this. People forget this all the time. It's like you persist, you persist, you persist. But having been where you are, I totally understand, and I want to acknowledge that because this is a process. It isn't just because I learn the information, I just suddenly apply it, perfectly all the time. It doesn't fucking work like that. I wish it did, okay? But it doesn't have to be hard either. It's just a process. So you want to train yourself again to stop focusing on what you don't want and the traits and characteristics and behaviors and how you're assuming a story about you that's not favorable, and train your mind to focus on what it is that you want and what you want to manifest and unfold for you. And you have to persist in that until the behavior is becoming more and more warm, more and more consistent, and more hot and in your favor. So what I was saying before is when you start creating a new story, again, it hasn't become your new dominant way of thinking yet. So even though they came back, even though you're seeing, more favorable shifts in someone around you, they're conforming to your new story, it doesn't mean it's fully conformed yet. It just means you're getting evidence how fast the fucking 3D does conform to the story in your mind. So you have to keep persisting. So you have to keep training yourself and reconditioning yourself over and over to focus on what it is that you want in here, so it's pushed out and then keeps coming back more and more. Okay, so a couple things to really help people, because a lot of times when people aren't focusing on self-concept and they're trying to affirm for something outside of them, especially a person, they run into a lot of emotional pain, not feeling good about themselves. So one of the things is, and I always talk about this, you need to be focusing on self-concept. You need to remember who the fuck you are, your worth, your value, why you got it going on. You need to be your best hype man and hype yourself the fuck up. You need to remind yourself how amazing you are. Remind yourself why you're so amazing, and remind yourself that abundance is everywhere, that you can literally have this option, that option. There's a song, there is a current song out about that. I like him too, right? How many people are out there? It's not just one person on a pedestal. If you want this one specific person, then you totally can have that too, but you need to remember, I am amazing. I can get this one, this one, this one, this one, or this one, okay? So I want you to do this. In addition to affirming not only the story that you want in regards to them, I want you to obviously affirm the story about who you are in this connection. And I want you to hype yourself up. I want you to remind yourself why you are so amazing, why anyone will want to snatch you right off the market, okay? And then I want you to go create a savage playlist for yourself of songs that really help you embody that state, right? That confident, secure, wanted, badass, God, king, queen, goddess, whatever that you are. And really get yourself into that and play that shit all the time, because listen, music is powerful. Music can really bring us into many different states, and you listen to the words of the song, not only the rhythm and the beat of the music, but the words of the song can really empower you or disempower you, can uplift you, or it can, demotivate you, right? So you really want to pay attention to that. So I definitely have my own savage playlist that I put in the background, and it gets me. I'm like, oh yes, I am that bitch. So you really need to focus on how do you shift your internal story. And again, you can do it through, creating your savage playlist, playing it all the time, affirming that. You definitely need to have a mental diet that supports who you want to be. How do you want to feel? Do you want to feel wanted? Do you want to feel desired? Do you want to be that person that there is no hot and cold behavior? And if somebody shows up that way because you created it for half a second, you're just like, oh, whatever, this is who I am. And boom, you go right back into self-concept of how amazing you are, and you're focusing on what you want. And then this is what happens. People come in the way that you want them. So this is where you have to take ownership and, again, train yourself in this process of doing your best to not focus on the 3D and get so attached to that version. I work with a lot of people, and the people that struggle with this the most delay their manifestations the most and really are staying in that anxious state all the time, and that worry state, that worry and anxious version of them that doesn't feel good, that really doesn't believe that they're the operant power, that doesn't really feel like they're gonna get what they want. And they're so caught up in, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? Well, if that's you, if that resonates with you, then you need to be focusing more on your self-concept, and you definitely need to create some kind of savage playlist of music for you so that you can kind of get yourself pumped up and start being your hype man. Start remembering who you are and why you're fucking worthy of having anything and everything that you want. So this is how you really stamp out hot and cold behavior. Everything is about your programming. When you have an old story, old programming, that's how you see the world. This is what you're going to look for. You keep searching for evidence outside of you to prove your self-concept. So to prove that old programming, so you have to reprogram your old programming with new programming. And then you start training your mind to assume favorably, to see the best in everything, to always focus on who you are and what you want, knowing that this is how I stop hot and cold. This is how I keep persisting in what's favorable for me, because everyone has to conform in your 3D. The more you persist in something, the more people continue to conform. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe if you did, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.